Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're here again, trying to introduce the rats for the second time now. So just in case you're not familiar with my channel or familiar with my rats, I have two rats from my breeder, Crumble and Humbug, and two rats from my rescue, Twix and Whisper, and I've been trying to introduce them for a while now, and it's just been a nightmare. So initially I had issues with Crumble, who is this one. He had hormonal aggression towards Humbug, who is the rat he came with as a baby. Pretty early on he had aggression towards him when he was a couple of months old, and I just did not want to introduce him to Twix and Whisper when he was that aggressive. So I got him neutered, had to wait 6 weeks for his hormones to die down, and then I tried to introduce them. But the second time around, Humbug decided his hormonal aggression was going to come out. I did see tiny signs of it, but nothing severe enough to neuter him. Until I tried to introduce them, he was relentlessly not only attacking these two, but also attacking Crumble too, and I just could not leave them together. He was that aggressive that he was attacking them, chasing them, puffing up the entire time, so I did have to separate them and neuter him. And then it's been 6 weeks of waiting for his hormones to die down to introduce them again. So these three have been living together and they've been getting on so well, and Humbug now has to go back in with them. So I'm really procrastinating this because I just hate introductions. This is probably my 5th or 6th introduction. I've not done that many just because I don't keep that many rats, and I absolutely dread it every time. So I suppose I'm going to go and get Humbug now and just put him in with these guys. Also, if you're wondering why they're in a carrier and why I'm doing it this way, I am using the carrier method. I'm not going to go too much into detail about that in this video, just because it is quite lengthy. So if you want to read more about that, I will leave more information linked in the description so you can read that and possibly look into using that as a method yourself. But that's my preferred method, and we're going to do that today. Sometimes I will do the neutral space before doing the carrier method. This is sometimes used as part of the method, but that was the mistake I made last time using that because Twix is very dramatic. He is a screamer. As soon as one of the other rats looks at him, he screams and he jumps out of the bathtub, pretty much jumps a meter off the ground and leaps out of the bathtub, and that in turn made Crumble and Humbug very angry and agitated because they then could not go near him and sort out their hierarchy. He just felt very fearful with too much space. So that's why this time I'm going to skip that and just put Humbug straight into here, which does seem like a very scary concept, but it worked quite well last time. The problems I had last time were later on when they had too much space, so I'm just going to put him straight into here, which does terrify me. I hate doing it, but it has to be done. So I've been talking enough. I guess I'm just going to go get Humbug now. I've got things on hand to break up fights if I have to, but I'm procrastinating, so I'm going to go and get him. Okay, here we go. Come on, buddy. Mind your feet. Be nice. Be nice. So the key is to not linger and hover over them too much, as tempting as it can be. Obviously I'm trying to film this at the same time, but in these initial stages I am just gonna stay here just in case something happens and I need to break up a fight. But things are looking good, so I will just step back and give them a bit more space. But Whisper is a bit puffy, Crumble was a bit puffy, he's not so much anymore. This is going so much better than before. Also, Twix is not screaming, which I was fully expecting, so that's also good. There's lots of sniffing going on. Humbug is sniffing Twix, he's also sniffing Whisper's breath. But this is good, he's just trying to familiarise himself with their scents. But they have met before and they also live in the same room, so hopefully they should remember each other. He's also grooming himself, which is good. If he's relaxed enough to groom himself, that's also a good sign. These two just have a habit of kind of sticking themselves to the side of the... Oh, he's grooming him, good boy! What I was saying is these two just have a habit of kind of gluing themselves to the side of the carrier and just sticking there in fear, which you don't want that. You want them to move around and interact with the other rats, but these guys have always been really dramatic, but it's nowhere near as bad as they were last time. Also, these two are adults now, they're not really considered babies. I did get a lot of comments last time saying that I shouldn't be introducing older rats to adults, but I couldn't pick how old they were when I got them. They weren't babies. They were about 12-13 weeks old when I did introductions, I think, which I couldn't really help. I had to wait for Crumble's neuter, and also when I got them from a rescue they were a bit older anyway, so I couldn't help that just because I rescued them. And you can entirely do adult to adult male introductions, it just can be a bit more tricky, but it's not impossible. You can do it, it just takes a bit more time. But I'm happy with this. They're not fighting, they're not rearing up. They all seem relatively comfortable. So I'm just going to leave them for a bit and I'll update you guys if anything interesting happens. So it's been about 6 hours now. It's about 6 hours since I put them into the carrier. And honestly, I've not heard a single peep from them, which is good. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much because last time they were pretty good at this stage. But they've not made a single sound. They've not seemed... Who's squeaking now that I'm talking about it? They've not seemed too stressed and they've not seemed to be fighting or... See, even Humbug is grooming Twix right now. This is really, really good. They've been doing so good. They've been sleeping consistently in piles together. So I think just for ease of access and ease of attaching a water bottle, I'm going to move them up to the next step, which is a slightly bigger cage, and just see how they do.
The next morning.
Hello. Good morning. Guys, they are doing so good. Every time I come in here to film them, they are cuddling together. But obviously, as soon as I get my camera out, they wake up and they're not doing it anymore. But I'm just about to move them up to the next step just because they're doing so well. And honestly, I feel this video is so boring just because nothing interesting is really happening. But it's good for them. It's good for me. Hi, babies. You're being so good. Good boys. Mummy's so proud. I'm so proud of you. Good boy, Humbug. And you. Dramatic. You doing okay? You want a bigger cage? No. Get back in there a sec. I'll sort you a bigger cage out and you can go into that. Okay, so we're moving on to the next step, which is this cage, and then after this is the main cage split into 2 sections. This is where the problem started last time when they had a bit more space, but I feel like because things are going so well, I am a bit suspicious, but I feel like this time around things are going to be so much better, obviously, which makes sense because he has been neutered, but this is the next step, so I'm going to put them in here now.
The next day.
Okay, so since things are going so well, I have made the decision to put them back into the main cage with plenty of things in there, plenty of things to do. I don't recommend doing this or rushing this if it's your first time introducing them or if they have had a couple of fights or scuffles. But because they've been pretty much perfect, they've not had a single fight or even a single argument or looking stressed with each other, I feel pretty confident and comfortable putting them back into this cage. Saying that though, I have made sure to leave it quite open, just in case they do fight, they're not going to get stuck in anything. So there's no closed hides or anything like that. There is a hammock which is relatively closed, but it does have multiple exits they can escape from. So I've just mostly put in climbing opportunities and also things to chew on. So I thought I'd just give you guys a quick cage tour just because it's been so long since I've been able to do one. Obviously this is not my favourite setup because it does have to be kept quite simple, but I'm just really glad to have the whole cage back, so I'll give you a quick tour. I've also finally been able to put in these toys handmade for us by Clyde's Critter Climbers. I'm so excited about this. I've wanted to put them in for such a long time, starting with this ladder which spans all the way across the rat cage. Also put in some of the chew toys she's made for us, so if you guys would also like some of the handmade chew toys, I'll leave the link to her Facebook and her website in the description. Then I also have 2 of my Dainty Paws hammocks in the back. These are honestly the best hammocks I've used with my rats, and I do have a discount code which I'll leave on screen and the description, as well as her website just in case you guys also need to pick up some hammocks for your rats. So the rest of the top section is pretty simple. We've just got more chew toys. Most of these are from rat rations. Then we've also got a tunnel, an IKEA tie holder, and then a big thick dog rope as well. Moving down to the base of the cage, I've got a foraging toy at the front, then I've also got the IKEA wine rack behind that. I've also put a litter tray in the corner. Then I've still got these stickers from Furnishables. These go so well with the cage, I've just left them on there. Again, I do have a discount code for Furnishables, which I'll leave on screen and in the description. I never thought to stick these on the perspex of the rat cage, but I honestly can't imagine it not being there anymore, and I just think it's super cute. And then we've also got a foraging wheel attached to the door too. So that is pretty much it, just a quick overview. I will do a proper cage tour again in the future when I'm a bit more happy with the cage, but I'll try to leave everything I can linked in the description, just in case you did see anything you'd like to get. I'll try to leave as much as I can linked in the description, but here's the rats going back into their cage, which is a really nice moment because it's been such a long time since I've been able to give them this much space, and they're really appreciating it. So it's been a few days now since they've all been living back together in the main cage, and I'm just so happy for them. Humbug has been sleeping consistently in piles and in hammocks with the other boys, and it's just so nice seeing him integrated back into the group and living socially as he's meant to. It has been quite a stressful time here trying to get them to live together and having to deal with them being neutered, and hands down I can say that I don't really want to have to do another rat introductions for a very long time. I'm really happy with where this is at, and I don't really want to do another one anytime soon, but I'm just really happy they're living back together as a group, and I'm really happy that he seems so much happier. So yeah, that is it for today's video. I'm so happy with the results and how this turned out. It might not make for the most interesting content, but the main thing is that the rats are now back together, living happily, and I'm just so relieved. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more animal related videos from me, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!